They told me for years there was no money in podcasting. Well, they were all wrong.
I hear that a lot because a big reason why I started this, I don't want to work for someone, not because I want to work whenever I want. It's because the only security I have is relying on myself. You know what I mean? But the idea of I want to work my own hours, I find that's a myth. Because when you have your own brand, your own thing, you're always working. You're never not working. I fall asleep thinking about Ambiguous Podcast Solutions. I fall asleep thinking about this podcast when I wish I could just fall asleep and going to a job the next day where it's just like, oh, I'm worried about the next day. Instead, I got both. So do you find that too? It's like when you're trying to do your own brand, it's not like, well, not that's not what I thought it would be. It's just that the whole idea of I want to be my own boss is really kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Like I know how you feel with the whole going to sleep late. Like I'm always blogging and it's a lot of work because you have to update. Like I have a website, I have merchandise, and I have social media, and I'm doing a show. So I have to keep my social media pages updated constantly.
Pound that algorithm, baby. Into submission.
I have to make sure that I have new merchandise. So, and that goes into I do drop shipping. So I actually have to go and design these things. And before I even add them to the store, so that's, another layer. I'm working on a show. So doing interviews with people, setting them up, doing graphics. I had to teach myself After Effects and all these other things just so I can do cool graphics and show opens. It's a lot of work. So no, you don't get to work the hours you want, because if you want it to be successful, you're literally working all the time. Because when I'm not working on my site, I think about, oh God, I should be working on it, because the less time I spend on it, the less amount I feel like the less success I'm going to have. I need to constantly be working on it. I don't want to lay there and not work on it, because if it doesn't become successful, I'm the only one to blame, because I'm the one who didn't take the time to actually work on it like I should have been. Yeah. So I'm always working.
Well, I definitely carry that mentality too. I remember at Karma, my mentality was I want to learn as much as possible, right? Be that sponge. I believe you, Nakia, a lot of people told me that kind of thing. I'd never turn down an opportunity to learn something. I still take that. I have taught myself vMix, this program. I tried teach myself Illustrator, After Effects. I'm still kind of getting there, but it's just I could, if I had the money, I would hire people to do these things for me. Right? Don't. So I got to learn them myself. I got the job I'm at now, my 9-to-5 job, contracted out. I didn't really know how to do live production. I've never done live production. I've never used Livestream Studio 6, but I had a killer interview and they rolled the dice and took a chance, and they taught me. It's just because I had the open mind to continue learning. Right now, I told you before we started recording, I'm going to Miami for a conference in a few weeks where I'm literally learning everything from scratch. I'm just it's daunting. It's a lot, but it's so exciting. I was I'm on set again. I'm setting up cameras again. I'm setting up lighting. I'm trying to figure out how to do manual focus instead of autofocus, right? Figuring out the lights and how light bounces off people's face and different guests and the cameras and all that stuff. So it's you got to be in a perpetual state of learning in the production world, because you never know what skill is going to be useful the next day.
No, that's true. I mean, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning all the time. I'm constantly teaching myself. I've taught myself everything in the Adobe Creative Cloud, everything. Because for some reason, I'm always shit, I need to learn how to do such and such. And I'm oh, I think there's something in Adobe that I can use. I'm designing sneaker bags right now. I have to actually learn how to design a bag. Not bullshit stuff. I actually have to learn how to design a piece of clothing, because I want to be able to send this somewhere to get the bag made. So I need to know how to do measurements. I need to know how to do things in 3D, 2D. So I'm constantly teaching myself and learning.
So take me through that process. How do you teach yourself? Now, obviously, YouTube's a great place. Adobe has a lot of tutorials and guides for learning out the tutorial processes, but sometimes those aren't even the best. So how do you go about teaching yourself how to use these products?
Well, I'll use some of those things like the videos, or I'll Google the question and read what the users will say. A lot of the times it's that, and then I'll go into the program and play with it. Like I would literally go in there and be like, what does this button do? Okay, so let me go. It says it does this. Let me go Google what that means. Okay, that button is for me to do such and such with After Effects. Like, so it's always playing around and reading, like cross-referencing a lot. Sometimes I don't really like watching those YouTube videos because sometimes I can't, like, that my attention span. I'm like, I just can't sit there and watch the video. I actually would rather read it and then go watch a video. So like I said, it's a lot of cross-referencing on how to learn these things, asking other people who might know. A friend of mine, he did graphics for my show, but I needed to do graphics for like a project I was working on. So he's like, oh, if you go to this website Envato, it's kind of like Creative Cloud. You can download show opens and then you can actually drop them in After Effects, and step by step you can change them and create them and do all these things. I'm like, that sounds amazing. Went and got the program, dropped it in, found the a sample of what I wanted as far as a show open, and literally it's almost like step by step it takes you into each effect and shows you what each effect does, how to change it, how to add other stuff. So now I feel like, okay, that's great. I'm almost like an expert in After Effects. Well, for myself, I couldn't go do this for a job. They'd be waiting all day for a graphic, but like it's kind of like that. It's just a lot of cross-referencing and reading and watching and asking people, taking notes. So even when I'm doing these things, I have to look at my notes and be like, all right, so what does this mean? Let me go see if I have this written down somewhere so I can understand it.
I kind of like that, though. I like that I have to rely on myself. I like that I'm forced to put myself in a situation where I just got to figure it out. Someone's like, what's your day-to-day job like? I'm like, dude, I just figure shit out.